Hey, how you guys doing? Hello YouTube, it's Atticus back with you with a little bonus video for Halloween. It is my favorite holiday after all. So yeah, I'm just uploaded a Tomb Kings versus Beastmen replay just an hour ago or so. So thought I'd do a little jerky too. You know, it wouldn't be Halloween if we didn't have Dark Elves. So this one is against a guy who I think is a little bit of a prick, but we won't really get into that. All that's important is that I beat him. And you know, when you beat somebody who's a prick, it always feels good. So in the spirit of Halloween and in the spirit of the Druchii, let's show you the replay here. So I'll show you my build. It's a Dark Elf versus Vampire counts. And yeah, so the whole idea behind this build is is the bolt throwers. You're going to be relying on them a lot to do your anti-large, either snipe the Mortis Engine, Terrorgeist, Lords, anything like that. So as you can see here, I got two bolt throwers heavily protected by a Blackguard and Agroth. So this is if I'm going to invest really heavily into this, a spear won't do. So if he tries to dive in there with Terrorgeist, bat, zombies, anything, the Blackguard will be able to deal with it a lot more effectively than, say, if I just put a spear unit. For my front line, I just went Bleak Swords, and you can see that I did Chevron them up to rank 6, the triple Chevron Silver. In the middle, I do have one unit of the Executioners, and these guys are just there to be the center pin, to be the real muscle, to try to chew through any Graveguard. And the Bleak Swords will trade good against like skeletons, and they'll trade okay against Graveguard. But yeah, the real power of it's going to be the Harganeth Executioners. For my lore choice, I went with a Supreme Sorceress of Fire, which is always important in this matchup. Hold on one second, let me turn down this TV. Alright, sorry about that. The Supreme Sorceress of Fire, which is important in this matchup for ethereal units. You want to have, Cascading Fire Cloak, is that what it's called? The Flaming Sword of Ruin. I'm thinking of the one that gives you immediate dents. This one will give all your units, magic damage and fire damage, and a circle radius around wherever you cast it. So it's really important to deal with, Cairn Wraiths or Hex Wraiths and things like that, even Banshees. Also do have two Doomfire Warlocks, and this is for the same reason. I wanted to have that magic damage since both of them do. One of them being the Regent of Renown, and I've been experimenting a lot with these guys ever since I had that game with Indie Pride from Milking Cookies Total War. He did a Dark Elf versus Wood Elf game that we played, and he had suggested I had brought the Knights of the Ebon Claw. And he had suggested maybe trying Doomfire Warlocks, because they do have a ward save, I think, of like 40%. They're a lot faster. They have bound spells, and the magic damage will even go through Wild Rider physical resist. So yeah, ever since then I've been really experimenting with them, and just seeing what they're all about. Also have one unit of Harpies, and their job is just to hold up bats, keep the bats from getting in my bolt throwers, because one-on-one Harpies will win, supported by my bolt throwers, any spells. They can actually take on 2-3 different units of bats, as you will see. So yeah, that's my army. I think that's everything. Yep. So we did take up position right here on the hill. I did this so I'd have line of sight for my bolt throwers. Also, I forgot to mention, I have a Kribis, how you say it. He does have Abyssal Howl, which gives a -8, I think it is. See if it'll let me click on it. Oh, it's like a leadership debuff around him. It's not so much important with the vampires, since they don't, rout, but they will crumble if their leadership drops to a certain point. So that's my army. For my opponent, he did bring the 2 Terrorgeist build, which is, it's pretty standard with vampires if they're expecting something large. Also by 3 bats. So this is, it's always good to have a few bats with the Terrorgeist, just because it will mess with the AI if it comes in like a Black Dragon fight, or if you have like a one-on-one fight. Have the bats there to mess with the AI. As you can see here, he has deployed in the forest here. And for his army, he did bring a couple zombies here in the front, supported by a whole line of 1, 2, I think they're all 3. Yeah, 4 skeleton warriors, so no Graveguard, but he also has 2 units of the Cairn Wraiths. So these guys are ethereal, 40%, I think it is. It's either 40 or 50% physical resist. For his lord choice, he brought Heinrich Kimmler, and so of course he'll have his summon. I forget what the guy's called, but the big Krell, I think it is. Also has a Black Coach. a white king. So yeah, pretty different kind of an army. Strange one to bring against the Dark Elves or any faction that has fire, but lore of fire accessibility. But maybe he didn't think I would bring it. So let's go ahead and start the match here, and I'm going to show you guys how it goes. So should be starting. Yes, alright, so we're in business. So I'll go ahead and. Alright. So right off the bat, I'm going to reposition my men. I see that his forces are right here, so I want my guys facing this way. I'm going to get the Harpies here in position to try to cut off his guys, but I'm going to leave the Reaper Bolt Thrower still facing at the main threat, which is those terror guys. I'm relying really heavy on my Caribus, and I don't want it to die, so the 2 terror guys would kill it real quick. So I am going to start getting some shots in on the terror guys. I think the first ones will be on the bats, unfortunately, but why not? Soften them up a little bit. I am going to switch, though, to the terror guys, and we'll start firing here soon, so let's see if we get a hit. So yeah, 2 out of 4 hits, not too bad, but we're chipping away at the damage. I am going to get my Supreme Sorceress, my Doomfire Warlocks, everything next to the Reaper Bolt Throwers, and the reason you do this is so if he does dive in on there, I can kill those bats before they can damage my Bolt Thrower. I'm going to send the Harpies in to try to hold up these bats, and look at 1 unit of Harpy is holding up 3 units of bats. One of my Doomfire Warlocks is going to use the Lesser Doom Bolt, and it's going to do a little bit of damage. So the whole time, these guys are getting held up by 1 Harpies. We're just shooting away, just hitting these terror guys. My opponent is going to do a little breath attack on the Blackguard. It's pretty good. He does some, free damage, and it does kill a few of my models. This is where he's going to make his first mistake. So he's going to rush into my my Doomfire Celestial Harvesters, and this is going to allow me to collapse onto him. So I'm going to send everything I have and just try to muck him up. I'm just going to try to catch him. I don't want him getting back in the air. And as you can see here, I'm getting really lucky. So I got Doomfire Warlocks, I got the Caribus chasing him, and you can see that his leadership is is starting to fall a little bit. So we're just chasing, we're chasing. Each second that I can do this is just doing more and more damage to him. And at the same time, my other bolt throwers are going to just be shooting in on this the other terror guys. So yeah, look over here. He does drop his bats. This is another really good engagement for me with all these Doomfire Warlocks, my Caribus. I'm taking out all these threats that I need early on. If I can kill these bats, that's less I have to worry about messing up my bolt thrower. I am going to cast Flaming Sword of Ruin. I just wanted to do it for the extra damage. I just wanted to get rid of those bats as soon as I could. And I'm still, as you can see, I'm still chasing. My Supreme Sorceress is going to rush in here and start nipping on the tail of this terror guys. And we're just chasing. In this situation, guys, just keep clicking on it. Keep clicking on it. Do not let your opponent get back in the air. Because once he does, you're losing the initiative. So, yeah, this is really good for me. I've caught this one, and he should be dying here pretty soon. Same time, this bolt thrower is raining down on this guy, and we took out about 1/8 of his health. So it's all free damage. He's not getting really anything for the damage that we're doing. He has chipped away at my Supreme Sorceress. That's a little bit of a mistake of my part. I should have probably pulled her away. But yeah, we are going to get a terror geist out of the deal. So that's 1 terror geist down. Same time, I'm just having these bolt throwers just keep on firing at the other terror guys. So my opponent, one of these bats finally did crumble. So now we are free. He has no way of reliably getting to my bolt throwers to shut with him. I'm going to start getting everything back in position. I'm going to start moving my men up to face, and you can see that his infantry is going to start coming up here. I'm going to get the Doomfire Warlocks. I need to get them in position to do the magic damage for these Cairn waves. And I'm just going to keep having the bolt thrower shooting in on the terror guys. And you can see, guys, we're almost down to half health. This build really does work really good. And, one of my problems with the bolt throwers is just how inaccurate they are. You saw 5 shots there that missed. Now he might be juking, trying to miss on it, which is a good strategy. But now I'd say they have probably a 60% chance of shooting. So our forces are going to start to collide here. Skeletons versus Bleak Swords, who will win that engagement. Here comes the Harkenef Executioners versus Zombies. So yeah, we have the advantage of pretty much every single infantry. There's not a single one that can do any damage to me. He is going to send his Terrorgeist in to snipe my Lord, which is a little bit of a mistake on my part. But I still am getting bolt thrower hits on him. So I'm getting the Cribus up. I'm doing bolt thrower damage. I do get a Flaming Sword of Ruin here. It's giving all my forces magic damage. And yeah, at this point now, I'm just trying to keep my sorceress safe. You can see right here, I'm trailing with the Doomfire Warlocks, and he does get a little bit greedy here. He tries to land, which will allow my Cribus to start hitting. Now, keep in mind, the Supreme Sorceress does have, I think, a 30% ward save that she can do. So she's tougher than she looks, especially when she's on the cold ones. She's not as squishy as you would think. And just look at this damage, guys. I mean, these bolt throwers are just this whole game just shooting in, just constant damage. And it's working really good. We're getting ready to get a second terror, guys. Over here in the main infantry fight, you can see that I'm just chewing through his units. I do cast the Black Horror spell. This is the one the Supreme Sorcerers of the Dark Elves have, and it's just a bound spell. You get one casting of it, and it does a lot of damage. It's just a like a portal spell. We did kill the second terror, guys, but unfortunately for me, he has broken the leadership of my Cribus. As you can see over here, the Black Coaches have been cycle charging my units, so I am going to switch my bolt throwers onto it now. I need to kill it, and one thing about the Black Coaches, it's for some reason the Reaper bolt throwers are just really good at hitting it. And look at that, we've taken it down to half health, guys. It's like 6 shots in a row. Since I've used pretty much all my ammunition, and there's not really a threat to my bolt throwers, I'm going to move the Blackguard up and start dealing with them. As you can see right here, the Flaming Sword of Ruin that I've cast has helped me really deal with these Karn Wraiths. But, my Lord is low. I do get a Doomfire Warlocks to come back, and I'm trying to, lock down this Right King here. As you can see that the Black Coach still is just cycle charging me, and I have a unit of Bleak Swords just sitting here, not doing anything. So here in a second, I am going to move them back into the fight. I'm using the Doomfire Warlocks right now just to lock down the Black Coach, and yeah, the bolt throwers finally get the final hit on it. The Cribus is in the battle, and keep in mind the Cribus is given that that -8 or 10, whatever it is, leadership debuff to all his units. So now I'm switching the bolt throwers on to Heinrich Himmler. And he does have regeneration, so it's probably not the best usage of it. Probably want to focus on the Right King, but there's not really a really good target for me at this point, so I'm just shooting where I can. So yeah, now it comes down to the Blackguard, Karn Wraiths, Bleak Swords, and my Cribus, here in this final engagement here. So as you can see, the Reaper Bolt Thrower just once again has just been shooting. Just one at a time, taking out terror guys, taking out Black Coach, taking out his Lord. And, yeah, balance of power is a little bit in my favor. As long as I don't get my Lord sniped, I think I'll be okay. So you can see that she is really low. I am using that 22 damage resistance, though, and I'm trying to keep her next to the Blackguard because I don't want him getting sniped. He does cast Krell. Now, Krell is a monster when it comes to anti-large. So he is he's putting a whooping on my Cribus, who is an anti-large specialist himself, but since Krell is not, he's a small unit, as you can see here, so I'm not getting that bonus, unfortunately. But, yeah, so now we just have a little bit of a mosh pit here between Dark Elves and Undead, but realistically, at this point, the only way my opponent can really win is it would be if he was to snipe my Lord. Because he still has a Himmler at full health, he has, a Krill, and he still has a Right King. And if you were to leave just those two units versus, what I have left without the leadership of my Sorceress, he might have a chance. So Krill is going to beat the Cribus here, and he's going to go running off. So at this point, I'm sending the Blackguard to try to deal with Krill. I'm trying to lock him down because one hit from him and I'm going to be screwed. 500 something damage, I think he does. 470. So yeah, it's beneficial to me to kill him off quick. And you can see that his life is just tanking. The Blackguard have that armor piercing damage. They're tough. Over here you can see that the Right King is trying to push through, trying to get to my Lord. And I'm going to see this, and I'm going to start running her away. I see this, and I'm going to run her away, and hide her inside the Hargonef Executioners. I cannot let this, Right King get to her. And he's trying, you can see, Bolt Thrower is still shooting in on Heinrich Himmler, but, he has so much healing, so it's, it's not the best hitting, our best target. I am going to use Flaming Sword of Ruin again. At this point, there's not any ethereal, but it is giving me, plus 25 weapon damage and magic damage and fire damage. So if any of these guys have any magical physical resist, it's going to bypass. It's going to give my guys a little bit more damage. And yeah, so we've locked down his Right King. Kimler's pretty much, screwed, and yeah, so we did it, guys. So yeah, bolt throwers were really the secret to success to this game, and I can't admit, it felt really good to win with him. When a plan goes, the way that I plan like that, it's very rewarding. He should have sent his bats right in. Let's go ahead and look at my build. So when it comes to Druchii and when it comes to undead, I do recommend always taking a Fire Sorceress or Marathi. A Supreme Sorceress is a really good period, especially if you put them on a cold one. I'm a big fan of taking the cheap lords so you can get a bigger army. And when you go against, I've had like 2,000 something hours on this game, and a lot of times in this matchup, you can't go super elite. If you go super elite, you'll just lose. You need to like spread, you need numbers on your side. So with that being said, you can't really afford like Malekith on a Black Dragon, not to mention the fear of Terrorgeist and stuff like that. So Supreme Sorceress of Fire, and it saved my butt. He had 1, 2, Karn Wraiths, and it was it just gave me that weapons damage increase. The Bleak Swords did perfectly with the Silver Chevrons. Look how many kills they were getting versus the kills of the skeletons. Excuse me. Hargonef Executioner is 245. Once again, they just really paid for themselves. I guess that's an understatement. Bolt throwers, it doesn't show them getting much kills, but remember, they sniped down 2 Terrorgeist, 1 Black Coach, and worked on the White King the whole game. So these things, beyond paid for themselves. They were, one of the reasons I won. Kribis, the same thing. It did its job. By itself, it would have lost, but with the support of the bolt throwers, perfect. And the Doomfire Warlocks were just great in this game. Now, if he'd have had Blood Knights, that might have been a little bit of a different story. I would have had I couldn't have charged them in. I would have had to play a little bit differently. But they were able to protect the bolt throwers. They were able to keep up with that one Terrorgeist that landed on the ground. And you saw we just chased him. And it just worked really good. The Blackguard, the whole game, they were just protecting my little investment here. And towards the end of the game, and that's another thing. When you do put a Blackguard on guard duty of your artillery, and when it comes down to the late game, you know how nice it is to have a full health Blackguard unit still when everybody else is down to 10% health from the rest of the unit. So sometimes if you're playing the long con in this game, if you could think that far ahead and plan something well, in the late game, would it be nice to have an elite unit in reserve? It could really pay off like it did in this game. And the Harpies guys, you saw them. I mean, they held back 3 units of bats. I mean, that bought me so much time, and they served their purpose. As for my opponent, this build, I don't know. I mean, against the Dark Elves, it's risky because, you have things like Witch Elves that will lock things down. You got Sisters of Slaughter that will just shoot through all the shaft. He was maybe expecting a more powerful Lord on a mount, maybe Crone Halibron on her altar, something where he could, the Lord snipe, and then use the 3 things that cause terror to, just get a route through my army that way. I don't know. I mean, he, like I said, he's a little bit of a prick though, so. No, it was still, I'm being a little bit petty though, but yeah, alright guys, so anyways, it's Atticus, good game to Zach Knight, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. Happy Halloween, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.